In this tutorial, I demonstrate how to back up and restore your WordPress website from one location on your remote host to another location, another subdirectory or folder on your remote host. This is so you can validate the backup. I'll be using Akeeba Backup Core for WordPress, a free plugin for backing up your WordPress websites as well as restoring them to different locations. So go ahead and install and activate Akeeba Backup, and that'll give you this dashboard link. Click on the dashboard link here, and then click on the blue Backup Now button to go ahead and create a current backup of your site. Go ahead and fill out the backup comment if you need to, and then click on the Backup Now button. And then it warns you, please do not browse to another page unless you see a completion or error message here. So it's going to go through each step of the backup process, including initializing the backup process, embedding the installer in the archive, backing up the databases, backing up the files, and then finishing up the backup process. Quick note here, at the time of this recording, I was experiencing problems backing up my sites with Akeeba Backup for WordPress using the Chrome browser, both on the Macintosh platform and the Windows 8 platform. So I'm using Safari here on the Mac. I used the Firefox browser on Windows 8 and had no trouble backing up the site. So once the site has been backed up successfully, click on the Manage Backups button, and you'll notice here that you have a valid backup that's in green. Notice that this made obsolete my previous backups, but that's okay. You have a backup here. Now I don't recommend that you download the file here. The documentation warns against using this download button, although it is convenient. If you want to move this file from your host to, let's say, Dropbox or your backup, I would use an FTP program. Now you would also need to use an FTP program to download this file to your local computer if you wanted to restore this backup to your local Bitnami server. I'll cover that in another tutorial, but right now let me move on and show you how to move this file to another location on your remote host and restore it there. Easier than using an FTP program is to simply go to your host's cPanel. In my case here, I'm demonstrating how to use SiteGround, but all the cPanels are pretty much the same for all the hosts. I'm going to go to my cPanel area for my SiteGround account. And I'm going to scroll down to the File Manager. Here in the Files area, the first icon is the Files Manager. And I'm going to click on my web root, not public FTP, not document root, but web root. Click Go. Now this will take you to the inside of your public_HTML folder. Now that is the folder that my host places all my websites. Your host may be different. It could be htdocs, it could be www, or it could also be public_HTML. This is where, though, all your websites are stored if you have more than one website on that host. I have several, and the website that I was backing up was WordPress 4. So find the folder of the site that you backed up and double click on the name of that folder, or actually the folder icon. And then notice you'll see wp-admin-content-includes plus some other files here. Double click on the icon for WP content, and I'm using a plugin to back up the site, so double click on the plugin folder, and then the plugin that I'm using is Akeeba Backup Core. Double click on that. Notice that there's no backup files here, just two folders, app and helpers. Double click on app, and then there is your backups folder. Double click on that, and then finally we get to this file right here. Notice that it has a JPA extension and it's several megabytes at least in size. Now this contains WordPress plus your website plus your themes and plugins and content, so it should be at least 25 megabytes or so. Probably much larger, 50, 60, 70, maybe even several hundred megabytes, depending on how much content you have on the site when you backed it up. Now the next step is to move this file to a new location on your host. In my case, it's SiteGround. So I'm going to click on the public HTML folder right there. And with that selected, just like that, I'm going to make a new folder. Now I have a backup 4 and a backup 5, so let's make a new folder called backup 6. So click on the new folder icon. Backup 6 is my name. Create a new folder. And then double check that you do in fact have a new folder called Backup 6. That's very important. You don't want to save this somewhere differently or else you'll lose it and you won't know where your backup is. Now what you want to do is move the backup file to this backup folder using the file manager here for your host. So what you want to do is go ahead and locate that backup file right there. And now simply drag and drop it into your new folder, which is Backup 6. So I'm going to hold down the Control key and then click on the icon of the backup file and just simply drag and drop it over to Backup 6. When you see the Backup 6 get highlighted, go ahead and let go with your mouse. And then also double check that that file is there by clicking on the Backup 6 folder, and sure enough, there is the JPA file. Now to perform the actual restoration of your backed up WordPress website, you're going to need one more file, kickStart.php. This file is provided by the publisher Akeeba, and what it does is it extracts from that JPA file that you've now moved to the new folder WordPress, all the WordPress software, all your themes, all your plugins, all your content, everything in fact, everything needed to restore your original website. Now at the time of this recording, it was a bit confusing as to where to find this Kickstart file and which one to use. So this is the one you need right here. Akeeba Kickstart Core. Notice it's been downloaded 87,000 times, and you can click on Download Now. Here is the current address of this file. It's hard to find. What I recommend that you do is just do a Google search for Akeeba Kickstart Core. What you'll get are a variety of links, and you want the one that just says Download Akeeba Kickstart Core, and that'll take you to this page here. Now they're going to try to get you to subscribe to their service, and I definitely recommend that you do that because you'll get very good service and documentation, and it's well worth it. But I first think it's a better idea to get the free version and go ahead and try to make sure that it does work for your setup, your server, your situation. So notice that there is the Kickstart Core. By Googling Akeeba Kickstart Core, click on the Download Now button and download this to a very convenient place. Once you've downloaded, notice it says Kickstart Core 3, and then you'll see that if you open this up, you unextract the zip file and open it up, there's a bunch of INI files. You'll need those INI files if you're using a different language. Notice that there is Czech, Spanish, French, I suppose that means. So, but inside of here is going to be a file called kickstart.php. And what you want to do is you want to now move this file to the location of your JPA file. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and upload it using either an FTP program or the file manager that is in your hosting account, your CPanel account. To make this even easier for me, I'm just going to drag a copy of this kickstart.php to my desktop right there. And now go to my CPanel, my file manager of my CPanel right here, and let's upload that kickstart.php file from the desktop. In the user column, go ahead and make sure there's a check mark next to execute so your permission reads 744. Click on Choose File, and this is simply on my desktop here. And there it is, kickstart.php. Choose that. This is going to give you this very poorly, I think, implemented progress bar here, but it will say complete here. It's a very small file, 266 kilobytes complete. Click on the back to link here, and then double check that you have both of those files in the new location where you want to restore your backed up WordPress website. I've got kickstart.php, and I have a JPA file that's usually 25 megabytes or more in size. Once you have the two required files, you're now ready to execute or run the kickstart.php file so it can do its job to restore your WordPress website from the JPA file. So to do that, go back to your original website. Notice the address of that website right here. That's the address to your server. I'm going to, except for the WordPress 4, I'm going to copy that, and let's create a new window here in Safari. And now let's paste the address appending the location of your backup. Now remember, the backup that I created was in backup 6. Write backup 6, make sure it's spelled correctly, and then kickStart.php. So if you've added the correct URL to your website and then correctly appended the folder name where your backup file is located, as well as the kickstart.php file, go ahead and press return, and you should see this screen right here. If not, if you don't see this screen, then you probably didn't path correctly to the location of your backup file. Proceed now to the second part of this video tutorial for a demonstration on how to run the kickstart.php program to restore your WordPress website to the new location.